Jesus freak here. Now, I'm going to point out a common misconception of the Church of Rome. And I'm going to point out, I think I've mentioned part of this before, but I found something else. This is from Matthew 16. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" And they said, "Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He saith unto them, "But whom say ye that I am?" And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered and said unto him, "Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, and upon this rock will I build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. Now they're going to point to this, "Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church," and say that Jesus was setting up Peter to be the head of the church. Now history shows that Peter wasn't the head of the church. James the Just was. So any idea that, Peter had that kind of authority comes from later. And the rock, we know the word for rock is Petra, and the word for Peter is Petros. And yes, that is a pun. That doesn't mean that the rock is supposed to be Peter. In fact, to tell you what the rock is. The rock is his confession. His statement that Jesus is the Son of God. This is the foundation upon which the church is built. As for his binding on earth comment, well, let's go 2 chapters later. In the middle of his conversation about the greatest and the least in the kingdom of heaven, and he talks about it right after he talks about excommunication. He actually says the same exact thing to all believers that are with him. He's talking to all his followers at this point. He says in Matthew 18:18, he says, "Verily I say unto you, whatsoever you shall bind on earth," note here he's talking in the plural, "shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Wait a second, he just gave all the apostles, all his followers, not even just the apostles, but all the disciples who were following him at that time, the same authority he just gave to Peter. And Peter didn't get anything special here. So basically, everything the Church of Rome is building on Matthew 16, 13 to 20 is bunk. Simply put. Jesus freak out.